Ghanaians living outside Ghana will not have the opportunity to vote?
Yes, we like to refer to Ghanaians outside as Ghanaians living abroad, or GLAs. And certainly not as diaspora, as I said in the article, because diaspora refers to faceless people who unfortunately have lost their roots through the slave trade, unfortunately. But we know our roots, we know our villages, we are as Ghanaian as you, Duke, over there. So you're asking me about authentication, definitely. And I'll give you full reference that we wrote a letter to Mrs. Jean Mensah and attached a copy of the minutes, and there has been no refusal of that. So we brought it to Jean Mensah herself, and she has not denied that such a meeting took place. So it's fully authenticated. Plus, you have the whole long list of 42 attendees who were all there. Right. Yes. And nobody has come out to say the article has been published. No one has come out to say, oh, that's a fake minutes. It didn't exist. And besides, we have since then communicated directly, and I wouldn't name anybody yet, with some of the commissioners, and they did not deny. We gave them the chance. They didn't deny. You there? You are muted, Duke. Okay.
Great, yes. So then that brings me to the question then about whether you think that there is some justification that the country may not be prepared to be able to implement a system that would allow Ghanaians living abroad to vote, logistics-wise, financial-wise, systems-wise.
Okay. Before I answer that, I want to introduce my colleague here, Catherine Cudjoe, also in New York. We both are the executives of Progressive Alliance Movement. Catherine is the CEO, I'm the chair. And Progressive Alliance Movement is the organization that has been pushing and funding all the court cases and rallying everybody to support this. So now, having done that, let me answer your question directly. You talk about resources and time. Now, remember this, the Act of Ropaa, Representation of the People's Amendment Act, was passed in 2006, my brother. So if you can't be ready in 18 years, when are you going to be ready? It simply means you do not want to do it. So any question, argument about, oh, logistics, money, implementation issues, it's nonsense. And I say just like that. Nonsense meaning it doesn't make sense. We've gone to court. Remember, we went to court in December 2017. There was a ruling by, rest in peace, His Lordship Anthony Yeboah, that for 2020, and even there was a 3-year window. The ruling was 2018, so there was a 2-year window, and still they did nothing. They went and asked for extension, okay, in the court of His Lordship Nicholas Apodapi, and he granted them another 1-year extension, and still nothing. They asked for 1-year extension in 2019. It was given to them, and still they didn't do anything. So who is to talk about time and logistics and preparedness? It's simply a matter of Ghana does not have the political will to do this. And the Electoral Commission, headed by Jean Mensah, are taking their cues from the powers that be. And so let's get to talk about that.
I will come to it, but for you as Ghanaians living abroad, how important and critical is the right to vote to you? Of course, we know that for those in the jurisdiction, they are affected day to day activities in the country, what government does for some. But for some of you, some would say that the countries in which you live has insulated you sort of from the problems that exist here. Of course, that's not to waive your right to vote. But I just want to find out that leading such a group of Ghanaians living abroad, how critical is the right to vote to you those living?
Okay. No, many a Ghanaian, okay, still has their umbilical cord in Ghana, meaning they have mothers, they have nephews, they have nieces, they have uncles, brothers and sisters, and anything that goes on in Ghana affects us the same way it affects people living in Ghana. I'll give you a quick example. Before SHS, okay, who was paying the school fees of people to go to school? It was mainly GLAs. When before NHIS and even during, who pays for critical health care? It is Ghanaians living abroad. When people don't have places to live, who pays for housing? It's Ghanaians living abroad. When the government talks about investments, who leads companies to bring and make major investments in Ghana? It's Ghanaians living abroad. And I'll give you one famous example. Cosmos Energy was the company that came with Tolo to discover what we call commercially viable quantities of oil in Ghana. And Cosmos was brought in by Ghanaians living in Houston. Western Union was brought in by Kofi Amwa. Okay, and we can go on and on and on and on. So who can say that, oh, you guys are comfortable so you don't suffer our problem? Look, we started this meeting with you today. You were having internet problems. It was affecting us. Okay? We couldn't start our meeting because you have internet problems in Ghana. Therefore, it was affecting us. That means the time that I need to do something else, I had to call and postpone it. Okay? Well, a lot of the housing going on in Ghana, giving boost to construction industry and all, who are paying for them is Ghanaians living abroad. The big monies that GRA makes from the ports, who are bringing the cars that they triple tax, is Ghanaian living abroad. Okay? So how can you say that a group that brings you more than $5 billion a year doesn't sweat, therefore they shouldn't be allowed to vote? Well, who are they sending the $5 billion a year to? They are sending not to people living in Togo, not people living in Cote d'Ivoire. They are sending it to Ghana.
Point. I would ask about the next steps, because clearly, just as the EC appropriated and reprobated and decided not to carry that out, this year they've made that known. We have some time. The election is in December. We are in April. Do you have any set of action plan to ensure that you are not further disenfranchised, you are no longer disenfranchised, and that the laws that have been passed by this country, you guys get covered and you get to exercise your franchise?
Okay. Well, we are trying to work within the framework of the Constitution and the laws of Ghana. We are not advocating any violence, of course not, okay? So we went through the court system, the judiciary system. First, we went through Parliament. Parliament made the law in 2006, passed it on to the EC to implement. The EC did not. So we took the EC to court, High Court, we won, all right? The EC asked for extension because we brought a contempt of court against the EC led by lawyer Samson Anyenini. And still the EC didn't do anything. So what do we have to do? Clearly, by the statement that Jean Mensah just made, that the EC categorically has no plans to implement, and I'm quote, to implement Ropaa for 2024, that means she's still acting within the contempt of court. No, the court said do it starting with the 2020, like you didn't. You asked for extension to show the constitutional instrument to Parliament, and so we can move forward. You didn't. And now you come out to say categorically, who is Jean Mensah to make that categorical statement anyway? Where in her hiring is there that condition that she alone has the right, or the EC alone has the right to make any categorical decision on behalf of the whole government of Ghana and the people of Ghana? It is not her fiat to do that. So yes, we will pursue it. We will go back to the court and take it from there. And believe me, the number of Ghanaians living abroad, we estimate it's at least 3 million. Now, obviously, not all of them are going to vote, but a significant number of them will. And Ghana is not the only country that has overseas voting, and I'm talking Africa. I'm not talking United States. There are at least 15 African countries that have been doing overseas voting since in the 80s. The countries haven't fallen apart. What do we think? Only Ghana is going to fall apart if it allows 3 million people of its citizenry remitting more than $5 billion a year to vote. Why? Why do we have that mentality? Right next door to us, Ivory Coast, in about 5 years ago, they started overseas voting. It's still there. Ivory Coast hasn't fallen apart. Niger, much poorer than Ghana, with all our trouble. We all know what is going on in Niger. They have overseas voting. Okay, Rwanda, which we all like to look at coming from the ashes of tragedy, they have overseas voting. And I could go on South Africa, Namibia, Senegal. They just elected the 44-year-old President Faye. Their overseas residents voted. They accepted the results. Cape Verde. So what is our problem, my friend? What is our problem?
I'll bring in Madam Catherine Cudjoe at this point in time to also, add on to what Dr. Boateng has said. Obviously, you are not letting this issue lie. Clearly, Madam Jean Mensah may be in contempt of court based on her statements, which you have authenticated. But generally, what can you add?
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Like Dr. Boateng mentioned earlier, it's all true, and we are ready, preparing to go back to court again, because it seems like they made the law, but they don't even obey the law, and that's so disrespectful. And they count on us, the Ghanaians living abroad. If anything they initiate, they come to abroad to fundraise from us, but they don't want us to be around the table. And for you to be involved in everything, like the president said, you don't have to be a spectator, So that's why we are actively involved, and our support to the country, it's very needed and important. And I think they are afraid of us because we cannot be manipulated. So that's both party A, party B, party C are playing games, but the games is over, and we are willing and going back to court. All I wanted to say is that we are asking all our brothers and sisters, Ghanaians living abroad, to support Progressive Alliance movements. Everything takes funds to do it. When we come and knock at your door, please kindly support us with the funds so we can win this as a family. Because once you win, you have properties and everything in Ghana. And just a few days ago, interestingly, GRA wanted us to declare our assets and everything. And if you don't want us to be part of it, why are you, drawing and want our money? That's, excuse my language, pisses me off. I'm trying to control my temper. So they shouldn't bring that, excuse me, that stuff into our territory. We are going back to court. That's all I can say.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boateng. Thank you very much, Catherine. Yeah, so hopefully, subject to editorial discretion, when this piece is put together, I'll let you have it. But the Electoral Commission have reached out to the Mensah now. They've decided that they will not comment. But I'll still go ahead and run the story anyway.
Why doesn't that surprise us? Okay, I leave it at that.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
That's all the authentication you need. The fact that they wouldn't even come to comment.
Yeah. Thank you.